The Milwaukee Brewers kind of embarrassed the Cincinnati Reds tonight, while the Seattle Mariners are trying to put the nail in the coffin of the New York Mets. Let's talk about it.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Yes, welcome on in to MLB Game Night, where we cover every single game, every single night, as only the Locked On Podcast Network can do it. I'm your host, Lindsey Crosby, host of the Locked On Braves postcast over on Locked On Sports Atlanta. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. That handsome fella over there is Steve Lennox, host of Locked On Red Sox postcast. Follow him on the X at Lennox on Baseball.
You need a new intro there.
New intro there.
Keep going. Just keep going.
Yep. Ton of stuff to get to today. I want to talk about the Red Sox. Trevor Story walking off the Marlins there. The Blue Jays staying hot. The Yankees getting a win. But first, we have to go to Cincinnati. Before we do that, today's episode is brought to you by our friends at 5 Hour Energy Transfusions. Go to 5hourenergy.com today. Use promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to get 20% off your order. Okay, so Brewers in Cincinnati, first game of a 3-game series. And the Brewers win this one 10-8, but it really didn't look like they were going to be able to pull this one off early because they got into a big hole. Here's Chuck Freeman from Locked On Brewers to tell you all about it.
Did you honestly think that the Brewers were not going to come back and win that game tonight down 8-1? I'm surprised they didn't win by a bigger margin. 13 in a row to tie a franchise record. Hey, everybody, Chuck Freeman, Instant Reaction Locked On Brewers. Just about to do some night fishing here, but man, the Milwaukee Brewers, unbelievable. Christian Yelich, couple of home runs. I said this on the podcast last night. Christian Yelich has definitely returned back to the Yelich that we saw in 2018 and 2019. He's great. Absolutely. Worth every dime. Worth every dime. And the Brewers have lost just 2 road games since early July, right after the 4th of July. 2 road games. Just incredible marks. 28 of their last 32 that they've won. It goes on. And the division is going to be theirs. I think we can safely say that right now. See you Sunday night on the next edition of Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe.
To Chuck's point, Christian Yelich, his last 15 games, is hitting .377 with a .721 slug and 6 homers. Is there anything I could tell you right now that you would not believe was true about this Brewers team?
No. Maybe Mizorowski not making it out of the second inning, and he made his return, was a bump in the road, but you expect him to be better next time out. This is just amazing, and Chuck is the most. I actually thought about Chuck earlier in the day on Friday as the Cubs were losing at home, and Chuck is the most deserving. I keep coming up with cocky, and that he's allowed to be as cocky.
Earned confidence. It's earned confidence, Steve.
Yeah. It's just amazing. And again, I mean, ultimately we're talking about this team making it to the league championship series and then beyond, because they're the best team in the National League. They've been that way for a while. We'll see here. But, I mean, everything going right for them. And, I mean, down big in this one, they're just inventing ways to win. They're just challenging themselves in different ways to win every given night.
I mean, Andrew Vaughn had a 2-out, 3-run homer in the third as part of the comeback. Trevor Megill got 2 strikeouts in the 9th for his save. 6 relievers retired the final 23 Reds in order. So the Reds are up 8-1, and they end up having 23 straight batters sat down. Not a great performance from them. Here's Jeff Carr from Locked On Reds. And tell me if you think you can figure out what emotion he's feeling in this.
Embarrassment. Shameful. I really don't know how to sum up the horrible game that the Cincinnati Reds played on Friday night against the Milwaukee Brewers, and they do it every time. They face the Milwaukee Brewers, and it just seems like they forget how to play baseball. And even in a game where they score 7 runs in 1 inning, they lose. I don't know how to explain it anymore. That is now the 25th loss to the Brewers that they have suffered in the last 3 years. Since Ellie De La Cruz has come up, they have beaten the Brewers no less than 9 times. Or no more than 9 times. I don't know. At this point, when the Milwaukee Brewers face the Cincinnati Reds, chalk up a loss for the Cincinnati Reds.
Going through it, man. He's going through it. You hate to see it. Quinn Priester, Zach Littell, starters on Saturday. Curious to see what happens here. Can Cincinnati rebound a little bit? Okay. Mariners at Mets. Another game with comebacks. This one not going the Mariners' way, as Chris Schubert wants, the host of the Locked On Mets postcast, wants to tell you about.
Bullpen, specifically, Ryan Helsley had yet another meltdown, and the Mets now blew their 20th lead since June 13th. They waste a great night offensively. 9 runs. They showed the fight. They showed the grit. They showed that bounce-back mentality that we have been asking for. Down 1-0, down 2-1, down 4-3. And early and often in this game, the Mets offense, spearheaded by Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto got involved as well. They battled back. They gave themselves a chance to win. They gave themselves a lead and handed things off to the bullpen. But for the 4th straight outing, Ryan Helsley just didn't have it. He coughed up the lead. The rest of the Mets bullpen, Brooks Raley gave it up, Ryan Stanek, Frankie Montas. Mets did not have it tonight out there in the bullpen. Now 2-14 in their last 16 games. And doesn't matter who Carlos Mendoza points to out there in that bullpen. It doesn't matter what inning. It doesn't matter medium leverage, high leverage, low leverage. The Mets are just not getting the pitching that they need from their bullpen, and they're certainly not getting the pitching that they need from their starting rotation, and they have wasted a great offensive night, and we all are wondering when this madness will end.
Cal Raleigh hit his 46th, but like the story is just the Mets pitching staff. Like, that's the story here.
Maybe it ends in Williamsport on Sunday. And the Mets do stay. I mean, misery there from Jeff and Chris. Reds and the Mets do stay a half game up for that 3rd wild card over the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds blew an opportunity to jump in front. Didn't happen. Both these teams, just, as Jeff said, against Milwaukee, the Reds don't win. And the Mets, you've got, it's just a disaster. Starting pitchers they don't even go 5. And this bullpen is beyond taxed. McClain, rookie, you're going with him on Saturday. Good luck as he goes up against Brian Wu.
He's got to maybe do a little bit better here. The Mariners had 11 extra base hits. They hit 9 doubles in this game. It's a franchise record. Just blows my mind. Like the Mets pitching staff can be this bad. They spent like $1 billion in the offseason, and the pitching staff is this bad somehow. A team that had a bad pitching staff because everybody was hurt. The Dodgers took the opener, hosting the Padres 3-2. These teams are now tied in the NL West. They've got 2 more games in this series. Padres lost their 5-game win streak. And this was something Clayton Kershaw sat down 10 in a row going into the 6th. Old man Kershaw gave up 1 hit, ended up didn't get the double play right after that. 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. He did get popped for a solo homer from Ramon Laureano. But just like the Dodgers, as much as they've gone through it in the last month, they're still 6-2 versus the Padres. Yeah. And they've got this series. They don't play again they play late in the month in San Diego. They don't play at all in September, which feels a little odd. You'd think you'd schedule these 2 teams to meet up like the last week of the year or next to last week of the year or something.
Baseball has to change that. They really do. You don't know. I mean, you'd figure Padres, Dodgers, you've got to play within your division in September.
If nothing else, just take the back-to-back weeks. They're playing now. They play again the 22nd, 24th. Just take that series and push it another week or 2. Stop doing back-to-back weeks where you play the same team twice. It's dumb. Anyway, sorry.
Because this is going to be a division battle all the way down to the end. So they should be playing each other.
Yeah. All right. Your Red Sox took down the Marlins at home. Why don't you tell me about what happened here? Because this was apparently really exciting late, wasn't it?
Yeah, Sandy Alcantara was terrific in his outing for the Marlins. Retired 12 in a row and 15 of 16 through the first 5 innings. They tagged him for a run, 2-out double Alex Bregman in the 6th inning. 3 hits total for the Red Sox. Trevor Story had 2 of them, Lindsay, including the game-winning base hit in the bottom half of the 9th inning. 2 walks, a hit batter, nobody out. Clayton McCullough goes back to the bullpen. Story base hit. Game over. 10th walk-off win of the season for the Red Sox. They're 5th on Friday night, and their green monster, City Connects.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a huge City Connect guy. Those are really good. I like those a lot. Obviously, brings them some luck. You said they've had a lot of walk-offs there. Cal Quantrill, Bragan Bello on Saturday. Great to see that. Wonder how good either one of them can be, because we almost saw a no-hitter tonight in Houston. We'll talk about that next, right here on MLB Game Night. It's time to fuel it up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Because let's be honest, some days you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and energized. And golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors, of course. The grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best part of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the beverage cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com, you can use the network's promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. Now, this offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and can't be used with other promotions. But whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion-flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. All right, so if I were to tell you that an Orioles pitcher was going to come close to a no-hitter, I think everybody would think, okay, maybe Grayson Rodriguez if he was back and things like that. Brandon Young blanked the Astros. They win 7-0. I was like, yeah, they win 7-0. Here's Brett from Locked On Astros to tell you all about what they just could not do here against Brandon Young.
When Baltimore comes to town, oh, you better be aware. Hello, I'm Sean Wellhouse here with Locked On Astros, and that was a tough game to watch. That reminded me of those teams that we had random guys like Orlando Merced, Miguel Tejada, Pudge Rodriguez. I mean, all these teams that had randos on the team and losing 150,000 games. Framber Valdez not covering behind Yainer Diaz was also not a good look. In typical Framber fashion, the guy gives you innings. He's a great strikeout guy. He's a great ground ball producer. But, man, when he gets lazy, he gets lazy. And Joe Espano's asked about that by Chandler Rome of The Athletic. He's like, next question. And then a couple more questions later, he storms off. I understand, Joe. We all understand you're frustrated. But Jeremy Pena was out because he was under the weather and he was having some test run. You notice how they snuck that in there? Let's hope that there's nothing going on with him. They did get good news on Josh Hader that they expect him back after a three-week rest on the IL. So let's hope and cross our fingers that he comes back soon. I'm Sean Wellhouse here with Locked On Astros, your team every day.
I don't know. It's I feel like Hader's going to be out more than 3 weeks. They're going to shut him down from throwing for 3 weeks. He's got to get back. He's got to get ready to come back after that. But either way, if you here's the thing on this. We can't show you the play. We're not allowed to show highlights here. But Brandon Young gets a swinging bunt back to him and he throws it wide of first and they rule it a single and the runner advances to second on the error. Kind of felt like it should have been an error on Young the entire time, not a base hit.
Yeah, in Baltimore, that might have been different. And it's Raone Urias, the former Oriole, as well, who got the base hit and the E2. I mean, just terrific. I mean, 2 outs in the 8th inning, not allowing a single base runner. His first win of the season, 0-6, and I mentioned the win because it's his first in the big leagues as well. So a big shot in the arm for the Orioles of maybe a guy who can, produce for you next year.
I love the efficiency. 15 first pitch strikes, 25 batters he faced. Smart move. There were 10 ground outs, 8 flyouts. You love that kind of stuff. These are the kind of like, you need to find guys like this. If you're the Orioles, we've been talking about this pitching needs help for years, it feels like now. This is the kind of guy you have to get. But talking about needing help, Steve, the Phillies take down the Nationals 6-2. Series is even 1 game apiece. They got 2 more to play. Connor Thomas, though, is not happy about the win for one very big and significant reason that involved a line drive and a cart to take somebody off the field.
The Phillies beat the Nationals 6-2 and might have just lost their season. I'm Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies, and just miserable. What was a great night turned into a nightmare. Joan Duran takes one off the ankle in the 9th inning, can't walk, has to get carted off, and if the Phillies don't have him, they might be dead. This bullpen's a mess. You are not winning in the postseason without Joan Duran. It doesn't matter how good Kyle Schwarber is, and he was awesome tonight. He always is. He deserves MVP consideration, every bit of it. But if they don't have the guy that they basically mortgaged half their farm system for at the trade deadline, and he's out for the rest of the year, this team's dead. Hopefully he's okay in some capacity, but we're not going to know till tomorrow. So for now, we hold our breath and hope that the season didn't just come to an end in Washington. We'll talk more on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
The team did announce x-rays were negative, but this feels like one of those things you got to see how he feels the next morning when he gets up. Is he sore? Is he stiff? Before you can figure out, did you avoid a crisis here or not?
And they've got some maneuverability here. I mean, they can go a week without him in the bullpen. I mean, they went until the trade deadline without him. True. But he's big for them, as Connor said. This isn't about the rest of the regular season. They keep winning, the Mets keep losing. Not that they've clinched the division, but they've got a nice lead right now. If it's a week, that's not an issue. That's not a problem at all. You got this guy for October. And he's pitched well. But that was also in a non-save situation where he was in the game.
Yep. That may have been one of those things where he was already up. He hadn't pitched since Sunday. He was already up because it's only a 4-run lead, but it was tied 2-2 in the top, like going to the top of the 7th. So
they made the decision already.
Yeah. Like they were like, we're going to need him. He hasn't pitched almost a week anyway, and then this happens. I do think that if they miss him for 15-day stint or whatever on the IL. Like, you did just add David Robertson. He's pitched pretty well. He got the hold on Monday, pitched again on Thursday. Like, you've got a couple options to get through a couple weeks. It's just if he's out for the rest of the year, that's your problem. But I feel like you would know by now if it was bad enough to have him out for the year. You may lose him for 15 days. I don't think you lose him for the year, or else he actually would do something.
Yeah, and like you said, in the terms of the x-rays were negative, and how is he going to feel coming to the ballpark on Saturday?
Yeah, that's the big question there. All right, daytime game today. Pirates in Chicago taking on the Cubs. They win this one 3-2. The courtesy of a solo homer in the 9th by Jack Sawinski off of Daniel Palencia. And our good friend Sam Olber from Locked On Cubs this is kind of a theme tonight. He's a little in his feels about this.
This is a bad dream that I really want to wake up from. Cubs lose 3-2 at Wrigley against the Pirates. I'm Sam Olber from the Locked On Cubs podcast. This team is so completely broken right now, and it's so far past baseball. It's in their heads, and I don't know what it's going to take to get them to consistently come out of it. It's not just one game of scoring 7-8 runs, and I don't know. I don't know. Let's fast forward to the end of the game here. Cubs were down 2-1 in the 7th. They got a gift bases loaded, no out opportunity with an 0-2 hit by pitch to Pete, a single from Nico, and then a sac bunt from Dansby that was kind of misplayed, had some weird spin on it. Everybody was safe. Bases loaded, no outs. They barely scratched a run across to tie it on a match soft sac fly. 9th inning, Daniel Palencia gives up a homer to Jack Sawinski. Bottom of the 9th, Pete leads off with a hit. He had a great offensive day today, 3 hits and a hit by pitch, but he made 2 outs on the bases. And the latter one, he had second base stolen easily, and overslid the bag by about 5 feet. I mean, it wasn't even close. It almost looked like he didn't even know that the ball was live. I don't know why the Cubs don't play more hit and run when Nico's at the plate with Pete, to just be creative and use Nico's contact. I don't know. I would just try anything at this point. But it is so bad right now. I haven't seen a stretch like this. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Another over for Kyle Tucker. Another one. Cubs lose, and everything's on the table right now. I wish I had something better to say.
Yeah. Not going great for the Cubs. This is they let the Pirates snap a 5-game losing streak here. Cubs are 9-14 in their last 23. And after this, guess what? They get 5 against Milwaukee when this series is over.
Yeah. I'm glad Sam brought up that play by Pete Crow Armstrong in the bottom half of the ninth inning. I need 25 minutes to go over that, because this is something in baseball now. Whether feet first or head first slide into the bag at second base, they're going over the bag, and he was out easily. It drove me nuts watching that on the replay over and over and over. He cost him huge right there, and it keeps happening throughout baseball. I don't understand why this is a current present day thing.
Yeah, he went. I mean, I've watched replay too. He just kept sliding past the bag.
Yeah.
You got to. It's the whole idea of they're trying to get around the tag and hook their foot on the bat. And it doesn't always work, especially these incredibly fast guys like this. Really, really disappointing for Pete, especially in a good day. He has not had that in a while. He's been slipping hard in the second half. And they got to get everybody else going. Cal Tucker, those kind of guys. Got to get those guys going. What is it here? Saturday, Mike Burrows versus Shota Imanaga. We'll see how they do in that one there. Rangers at Blue Jays. Rangers drop this one because they give up 2 runs in the 7th and 4 more in the 8th to lose 6-5. They're up 5-0 in this game, but Alejandro Kirk, 2-run homer in the 7th, then has a 2-run single in the 8th. And this is all after, Jacob deGrom is 2 hits, no runs in 5. They get a Kyle Higashioka 3-run homer, Marcus Semien 2-run homer. They do a lot of stuff right, and then just can't seem to put this one away. Jeff Hoffman, though, strikes out the side in the 9th in 11 pitches. Just one of those, when everything's going right, everything's going right. Oh, and George Springer had a triple in his rehab start.
Yeah, and Shane Bieber works 7 scoreless, so their pitching's going to get a little shot in the arm if he can come up to the big leagues and contribute.
21 games over 500. Feels like they're just going to get even better from there. All right, my Braves went into Cleveland and blanked the Guardians 2-0. They've won 6 out of 7 here. Hurston Waldrop called him up. He made his 25 debut in the Speedway Classic in the resumption. This is now his second start after that. Second win. 6 scoreless innings, only 2 hits, 2 walks, strikes out 7. Yeah, splitter. The splitter's his pitch. He threw it more than anything else tonight. He had a 61% whiff rate on the splitter. Just absolutely absurd here. Atlanta's 2 runs. They get a bases-loaded walk of Nacho Alvarez in the 4th, and then an RBI single in the 9th. And that's all they needed. Cleveland gets 2 hits in the entire game. Just a very frustrating performance for really both teams' offenses. But Atlanta does just enough. And Cleveland, all those walks they had just finally kind of came back to bite them.
Yeah, Steven Kwan had the only 2 base hits with the Yankees win that we'll touch on in segment number 3. Guardians now a game and a half back. Their run differential still negative. It's not going to change anytime soon. But they're a game and a half back of the Yankees for that 3rd wild card spot in the AL now.
Yeah, and speaking of that Yankees win, they really needed that. We'll tell you more about it next right here on MLB Game Night. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401k, property, investments, things like that. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. And that's why Monarch Money exists. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. And Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. So don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDON MLB. Final segment of MLB Game Night. Lindsey Crosby, Steve Lennox. Yankees went into St. Louis and got a 4-0 lead, and they won the game 4-3, a little bit closer than they wanted. Here is fellow MLB Game Night host Brian McKeon from Locked On Yankees with more about what happened for them.
Talk about a big boy win for the Yankees tonight. I'm Brian McKeon from Locked On Yankees. In a game you absolutely needed to have. The Rangers lose. The Guardians lose. You needed this game more than anything. And with early runs, the Yankees started to get a little comfortable in this game. Got a solid start out of Luis Gil. But then Duvall gives you a little bit of a scare there. You thought you weren't going to be able to hold it, but this is why bullpen pieces are absolutely key at the trade deadline. You get Bednar to come in and give you the big boy performance that he is capable of giving the Yankees. Luke Weaver also looks great. It's why you acquire a dominant bullpen, and it's why we all think they have a slight chance going forward. We'll be discussing it all week on Locked On Yankees.
What is more surprising based on how things have gone recently? That the Yankees bullpen just absolutely locked this down and got this. Oh, the Yankees had 4 double plays, by the way. Like,
yeah, that
defense had 4 double plays. Or the fact that Aaron Judge goes over 3 today, and he is now 5 for 27 with 8 strikeouts since coming back off the IL.
Yeah, and in the DH role, which puts Giancarlo Stanton on the bench as well.
Yeah,
he's going to have to get going. And they have, as you said, they led 4-0. They win 4-3. 17 opportunities with runners in scoring position, just 3 for 17. And
3.
Judge did have a productive out, but he was 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position, had an RBI ground out to get them on the board first early on against the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's a lot of this came from Jazz Chisholm's 2-out homer, right? Just the guys that maybe weren't being asked to carry because Bellinger goes over 3, running score position, Judge is over 3, Grisham's over 3. But listen, this is the pitching matchup tomorrow. Quietly one of the better ones of the season or of the day. Max Fried versus Sonny Gray. That's going to be a fun one to watch. All right, White Sox in Kansas City to take on the Royals. Royals win this one 3-1. Here is Todd Welter from Locked On White Sox, all about kind of what happened to them here.
The White Sox set a franchise record for the Royals. Hello, I'm Todd Welter, host of Locked On White Sox, and the Royals beat the White Sox 3-1. It was Kansas City's 12th straight home victory against Chicago, which is a franchise record.
Wow.
And it was all the greatest hits on how the Royals beat the White Sox. Bobby Witt Jr. is a menace at the plate. He absolutely owns the White Sox. And then you have Salvador Perez hitting a home run and the White Sox offense being feeble. And I'll have more on Monday's episode of Locked On White Sox.
Love a good short and sweet one. Thank you, Todd. We're a little short for hot time in the third segment. But I'm not surprised Bobby Witt Jr. is really good against the White Sox. I don't know. Like it feels like the White Sox, I don't know what they're going to do here. He's batting .325 with an .869 OPS against them. Like at a certain point, you just got to learn to get a dude out.
Yeah, and don't throw anything close to the strike zone. 10 years ago, he probably takes one in the ribs. Not condoning that.
True, yeah.
But these are a lot of young pitchers. Savali did pitch. They may not even be aware. They have a pitchers meeting before the series. Hey, don't pitch to Witt. What do? They probably groove a couple, and he takes advantage.
I will say Noah Cameron, the young starter for Kansas City, been looking really good recently.
Yeah.
5 1/3, 1 run. The only run's a Lennon Sosa solo shot in the 4th. So kind of a big deal here. I've really been impressed with him. I know they've dealt with some injuries. Cole Reagan's going through his rehab stuff right now. I think he had a bullpen the other day. He's not quite ready to come back yet. So this has been nice. Sean Burke versus Michael Lorenzen on Saturday in that one. Angels at Athletics. Sacramento A's. They're not technically Sacramento A's, but the A's win this one 10-3. Oakland's now won 4 of their last 6. And our guy Booney is, I'm not going to say gloating, but he's a little excited about it.
Great part about being out of contention so early is that the pain is gone. This is Booney from Locked On A's, and whatever hope the Angels had to grab a wild card spot. The A's shut the door a little bit closer. Hey, great win against the Dodgers this last weekend. Nick Kurtz, 3-run bomb. Colby Thomas, 3-run bomb. It was an absolute bomb fest in West Sacramento. Thanks for coming, Angels. It only took us 8 times to beat you, but the 8th one has to sting a little bit more.
Tyler Soderstrom didn't start this game. They pinch hit him in the 5th inning. So the A's pulling out all the stops to take some teams down here. All right, I'll take Tigers Twins. You can take Diamondbacks Rockies here. Tigers get a shutout, 7-0. They're up 2 games to none in this 4-game series. 12th shutout of the season. Charlie Morton, 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 5 strikeouts. Does walk 3. That's a Morton thing. You're fine with that. The Twins over here, though, 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. So the Tigers have now won 5 out of 6, and they're 7.5 up on the Guardians. We've all heard about how close a lot of these American League races are. There you go, 7.5.
Got the Rockies picking up a victory, Lindsay, Friday night at Coors Field. Win 4-3 over the Diamondbacks. With that, they even up the series at a game apiece. Hunter Goodman, 2-out solo home run. That in the first inning. He's got 25 on the season. Jordan Beck adding to the lead, made it 4-2 with an RBI double. That in the 5th.
Yep. Final game here, Rays at Giants. Rays scored a run in the top of the 9th to take this one 7-6. Chandler Simpson did a lot here. 2-run single in the 4th, tied the game at 6. He had 3 hits, 2 RBIs, 2 runs, and then just nobody did anything for like 5 innings. Giants had a chance, though. Loaded the bases in the 8th. Nobody on, did not score. They got the Noble Tiger there. Yandy Diaz broke the 6-6 tie with that RBI single, and they took the win. It's Adrian Hauser versus Justin Verlander on Saturday, so that's going to be fun there. Got about 30 seconds left here in the show. Any final thoughts on the day that was from Steve Lennox?
Players weekend, and I want to know who's creating all these wonderful bats that we saw on Friday. I will say in the Red Sox game, I forget who it was, but they went back to the normal bat later in the game because the juju wasn't there in the bat that was all designed for Players weekend. I don't recall what happened with the next at bat, but it was noted on the Nesson broadcast. I thought that was funny.
A lot of the Braves players, they had the fancy bat, the first at bat, and then they swapped back out of it because they're all being auctioned off for charity, and they wanted to make sure it was still intact, it didn't get broken or things like that. That was just kind of funny to me too, though. And all the cleats. The cleats were my favorite part of this whole day. Everybody had crazy cleats.
Yeah.
All right, this has been MLB Game Night for Friday, August 15th. Do us a favor, you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when we go live, because MLB Game Night is every single game, every single night.